Hey, I'll see you on tour in Las Vegas, Chicago, and Grand Rapids. In Chicago, it's stand-up and a live panel show. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to jimmydore.com. Breaking, Governor Newsom issues executive order to clear homeless encampments across the state. Boy, how many Chinese leaders are coming to California? Because that's the only time he'll do this. What? He will not make himself available to reporters today.
Oh,
you can't even try to come up with any excuse. It's unbelievable. Okay, here it is.
Governor Newsom has issued an executive order to remove homeless encampments throughout California.
Yeah, this is an order directs state agencies on how to remove the thousands of tents and makeshift shelters that are found throughout the freeways, shopping center parking lots, and city parks. In a statement, Newsom says, quote, "We must act with urgency to address dangerous encampments," end quote. Newsom's order does follow a Supreme Court ruling that allowed for an action like this. It said encampments can be cleared even if there's no shelter space available. Now, worth noting that while Newsom cannot order local cities or counties to act, his administration can apply pressure by withholding money from them. So stay with us for updates on this breaking news as we get there.
So here he says, no more excuses. We've provided the time. We've provided the funds. Now it's time for locals to do their job. Well, he didn't have any luck confiscating people's guns. At least you can confiscate some people. What the local, he's blaming this on local municipalities. The people in the local municipalities, their job is to steal and not snitch when you steal. And they did their job. Here's another. He's blaming local officials for his 2 decades of failure to improve the... He ran on solving homelessness back in like 2010. The first time he ever ran, I think even in 2008, he ran on solving homelessness. Here it is, 2024. And he's blaming local officials. I like that. No more excuses. Governor, if it weren't for excuses, you'd be homeless. Huh. Here's what friend of the show, Nick Cruz, says. When your system is too shitty to fix homelessness, you just create a police state to criminalize it instead. This is what a failed system looks like. China doesn't have to implement policies like this. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Mm-hmm. We were in Europe. They don't. I saw one homeless person the whole time I was there. It was at 5:30 in the morning in Amsterdam. I saw one guy sleeping in the street. We went to Sweden. We went to Denmark. We went to Oslo. We went to Berlin. We went to
London.
I didn't go to a lot. In all fairness, I didn't travel around Berlin a lot. I just went to my hotel and then I walked to the venue, which was right past Hitler's bunker. So I can't really speak for Berlin. I didn't see much of Berlin at all. And then, of course, London. It's its own nightmare right now. Come on, California. It's illegal not to have a lot of money. Am I right? Come on. So here's what he said.
I don't think there's anything more urgent and more frustrating than addressing the issue of encampments in the state of California. Over the course of the last number of years, the state has stepped up, where in the past we provided no support, no resources to cities and counties to clean up encampments like this. Today, we've invested now.
Why didn't you? You spent $24 billion on it. You didn't give any resources to cities and counties? What? Okay, here we go.
$1 billion in encampment resolution grants, not only to clean up sites like this, but to address the underlying issue in the first place. One of the big issues, though...
Here, hang on.
I don't think there's anything more urgent and more frustrating than addressing the issue of encampments.
I could think of something more frustrating. You suddenly acting like you give a shit about it just because you ain't going to replace Biden. How about that? Okay.
In California. Over the course of the last number of years, the state has stepped up, where in the past we provided no support, no resources to cities and counties to clean up encampments like this. Today, we've invested now over $1 billion in encampment resolution grants, not only to clean up sites like this, but to address the underlying issue in the first place.
The
One of the big
underlying
issues, though,
issue?
that has been an impediment.
What is the underlying issue? So the underlying issue is people don't have psychiatric care. We don't have mental health hospitals to put the people who have mental health issues. The other problem is people go bankrupt when they get sick in America. That's another problem. Another problem is 40% of homeless people actually work. So our wages are too low. And the rent's too damn high. And we don't build enough housing. There's no affordable housing. People in California have to spend like 40% of their income on housing. Okay.
Was the courts. In the past, the courts have denied the ability for local government, including the state, to clean up many of these encampments. Today, I announced an executive order to move the process forward. We're done. It's time to move with urgency at the local level to clean up these sites, to focus on public health and focus on public safety. There are no longer any excuses. $1 billion this state has invested to support communities to clean up these encampments. We have now no excuse with the Supreme Court decision. This executive order is about pushing that paradigm further and getting the sense of urgency that's required of local government to do their job.
Well, but where are you going to put these people? What do you have? Is there? Well, here's what they already did. California, this has already spent $24 billion on homelessness, and it can't measure the impact. They can't even tell you where the money went. First of all, you can measure it. I can measure it for you right now. How many gallons are in one clusterfuck? Is that it? State auditor questions the effectiveness of spending programs. They spent $24 billion. Have you seen $24 billion on homelessness? So this is just a money laundering operation that they were running. That's what that is. I'm sure what happened is they hired some corporation to go do homeless outreach, and they paid them $24 billion. And they did nothing. $24 billion they already spent. You know how many apartments you can build for $24 billion? You know how many mental health facilities you can build for $24 billion? You know how many drug rehab centers you can build for $24 billion? Because that's what you need. You need affordable housing. You need a living wage. You need health care that doesn't bankrupt people. And you need mental health facilities and drug rehab places. That's what you need. Right now, we put drug addicts in prison, which costs around $100,000 per person a year in California. Don't you think it would be better to put them in a drug rehab? A court-ordered drug rehab? Important clarification here is that the order does not mean that California is doing some mass encampment clearing today. He's directing state agencies and departments to come up with plans to clear encampments from state properties and asking local governments to do the same. Well, of course, he's not going to actually do anything. Maybe somebody should tell them that we already handed out $24 billion for an impact that we can't measure. We can't measure the impact. Wow. So you handed out $24 billion, Governor Newsom, and now you're telling people to draw up a plan. That seems backwards, right? Am I the only one who thinks that seems backwards? You already handed out $24 billion, and now you're telling people to draw up a plan. Get this. Newsom has made homelessness a signature issue as governor. Oh, really? Guess what? If there was ever a signature issue with Governor Newsom, it's the homelessness debacle. That's definitely my signature issue with Governor Newsom. Definitely. That's his signature issue. What? How long has he been governor? How long has Governor Newsom been governor? Since 2019. So 5 years. He's been governor for 5 years. And so now he's pushed and campaigned for a ballot measure earlier this year to allow the state to borrow $6.4 billion to build 4,350 housing units. So after spending $24 billion, now he's going to borrow $6.5 billion to finally build housing units. The order comes as Republicans have stepped up their criticism of California and its homelessness crisis as Vice President Kamala Harris, a former California District Attorney and Attorney General and Senator, launches her presidential campaign. Is that what this is about? To make Kamala Harris look better? Harris entered the race over the weekend after President Joe Biden. Is that what this is about? He has, so now he can say, Governor Newsom, he solved the problem he's mostly responsible for. Wow. So, and where's he going to send the homeless now? Are they gonna be like the new influx of immigrants? And are you going to open up the hotels to them? Isn't that the rule? Well,
you know, he makes this big announcement like it really should matter to the state of California, but there's no announcement about real health care for the state of California that the Democrats keep voting down in the state house.
What's that? Say it again?
They keep voting down health care in
California.
Of course. But it's the
Course.
Democrats. They're not your friends, ladies.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's the Republicans who are standing in the way of healthcare. I live in California, 100% Democrat rule. Super majority Democrat majority, and a governor who's a Democrat. Still no healthcare.
And he campaigned on that.
And homelessness everywhere. Did you know that they say you can end homelessness in the entire country for $20 billion? Well, not if Governor Newsom's in charge of it. That's really shocking. Okay, look at that. Governor Newsom says he's finally going to do something about homelessness. But he's not. He's not going to do anything. So 4,350 housing units. Let's say if you put 3 people in each one of those houses, that's around 12 to 13,000 homeless people. How many homeless people do you think there are in California? What's the homeless population in California? 171,000 homeless people in California. So that would take care of about maybe 12 or 13. That's his plan, to take care of 12 or 13,000 of them?
And 25% of those are children.
25% of homeless people are children in California. So 1 out of 4 homeless people in California is a child. That's not even enough housing units to house the children. Just the children. What's 25% of 171,000? 42,000. So if 25% of the homeless people in California are children, that means 42,000 children in California are homeless. That's not going to take care of it. So he proposes not even a half measure. That's not even a quarter measure. His big idea. And now he's given $1 billion to local municipalities just to clear out the homeless encampments, not to take care of the homeless people or build housing or build mental health facilities or build drug rehabs and staff them. That'd be a great jobs program. We're going to build housing. We're going to build. How about that $24 billion? You already had $24 billion. Why don't you take that to build housing units? Why don't you use that $24 billion to build mental health facilities and drug rehabs and staff them? It's amazing. Hey, I'll see you on tour in Las Vegas, Chicago, and Grand Rapids. In Chicago, it's stand-up and a live panel show. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to jimmydore.com.